Hey guys, it's Lisa and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to make some ornaments and we're going to start with these little wooden squares. I think I got these at the Dollar Tree or the Dollar General last year. Haven't seen them this year yet, but I'm sure that you can get these at Hobby Lobby or you can just cut your own. I guess you could also use the small stretched canvases from the Dollar Tree for this and just finish off the back with some decoupage or something. But I'm giving these one coat of the color buttercream because I just need a good neutral base, and I paint these on the front and the back. Again, if you were to use the stretch canvases, then you could just do some sort of finish on the back as well. But once I got all of these painted, then I'm going to be using some wooden beads on them. So I didn't want to leave the beads natural. I wanted them to be white, but I also just wanted them to be white stained. So I'm using the gel stain from Dixie Belle in the color white, and I just put several drips in there in a little bag, and then I'll just kind of roll them around to coat them. If you don't have the gel stain, you could take some white paint and thin it down and put some drops of that in here. So I just keep kind of rolling it around. Again, I don't want full coverage, but I don't want that natural wood either. And then once I get finished with these and I feel like I have them all covered well, then I just lay them on paper towels to dry. So I'm going to be doing some decoupage on these, and I'm going to be using some napkins and book pages and different things like that. So anytime that I can find the napkin that I'm using, I will include that link in the description, or any other thing that I feel like might be useful to you. But I love this little bird napkin with the poinsettia, and I do think that I can find this one because it hasn't been really long since I bought this, and I did get this one on Amazon. So I'm just going to decoupage this on the front. Now you have to be strategic with these smaller napkins on placing them, because you have the other side of the napkin which starts that same pattern upside down. So you need to make sure and place this where you won't get that other little bird in it. And I'm sure I'll still be able to use that other side, even though most of it is going on this side. I can still use the other image on something else, even if I have to just use the one bird in it. And the next one will get this hymnal page that my friend sent me, and so I'll put that in the back, and then it's also going to be getting some napkin over the top of it, but not full coverage. So I just glued that down and trimmed that off. And then this is another napkin with the poinsettia, and this one has a cardinal. So I'm going to use that on this one. I'll try to find this one as well, although I'm not sure. I'm thinking that this one might have been given to me, but I'll still try to find that and link it if I can. So again, these are just the square wood pieces that I think I got at the Dollar Tree last year, but you could use any shape you want here, because I'm going to be, and if you're wondering what I'm doing with that plastic, that's just a sandwich bag, and it's just a good way of making that napkin lay down flat and getting out all the bubbles without tearing it. And speaking of tearing, this one I'm tearing the deer out, and I will try to find this one also. Again, I'll try to find all of these that I can. But because of where I'm going to be drilling the holes in this one, you could use any shape that you want. You could use a circle or a heart or oval. Really, you could use just about any size you want on this, as long as your napkin image will fit right on it. And at some point, I'm going to be making some out of different shapes myself because, again, I found these last year and haven't been able to find them this year. So I want to make some more of these, but I'll either have my husband cut out some shapes or I'll just find a different shape altogether. I think this one ends up being my favorite one, and you guys know me with neutrals. I love neutrals. And this one just has such a rustic look to it. I just really like the way this one turned out. Now here I am stamping some script in the background. I'm sorry for those of you who tried to find the ginger and spice mold from my last video. I included that link, and then it turns out they were out of that mold. So I did find it, and just underneath that link, I put another link, which is not my friend's link, but it is a place where they did have that in when I found it. And I haven't ordered mine yet, but I'm definitely going to do that. I'm kind of waiting on my friends to get hers in so that I can give her the credit for that, but if I can't, then there is that link that I added underneath it. Now this is a postcard image that I found on the Graphics Fairy. And if you've never tried, there's a book page that I am gluing underneath it. But if you've never been on the Graphics Fairy, there's so much new, free graphics available. Of course, there's a lot that, they want you to buy, but you don't have to buy anything. And I've went to the Graphics Fairy for years and not ever bought anything. There's just so much free that you can take advantage of that you really don't even need a membership. So I'm just gluing that on the top of this. And the only reason I put the book page underneath is because this is too small for the wood piece. So these kind of make it possible for you to just do whatever you want, whatever kind of look that you like. You could use scrapbook paper, or you could use napkins or transfers or even paint inlays. You could just do about anything you want on these and just give them all different kinds of looks. Now this one I'm going to put over that hymnal page, and I'm just tearing out some of the image. And I really like the look of layering those. I guess people call that a mixed media look, but I really do like how the napkin looks when you decoupage it over the top of a book page or a song page. I haven't had very much luck finding good Christmas napkins yet, and even last year I struggled somewhat. I think I got more of my napkins given as gifts to me than I was able to find, but I still didn't end up with a whole lot of Christmas, so I'm really on the lookout for Christmas napkins. And I know there's a lot of Christmas napkins out there. I guess I'm just too picky with those. And I do wish that there was a larger selection of napkins that had more meaning to them without having the bold words that I just don't like the look of that either. So again, I think I'm just too picky with the Christmas napkins. So what makes all the difference with this one is adding the antiquing ink around the edges. And this is a Tim Holtz Antique Oxide. And this is an ink blending tool that I'm putting it on with. And if you've watched me long, you've seen me use these many times. So here I'm measuring to drill my hole in the top and the bottom. And then I'm going to thread some jute twine through both of them. And I'm also going to be adding some beads. So the top will serve as the hanger because I'll put the loop at the top. and then I'll tie that jute on and add my beads to the bottom. And I think I put about 3 on the top, and then once I get those on there, then I just tie a knot so that the beads will stay in place. And then I just take a strip of torn fabric and take that through the bottom. You could just use jute again on that one, but I just tied some fabric on the bottom and added 1 bead and a knot in the end of that. And I think the beads make a really big difference. Even the one on the bottom, it's just enough to kind of dress that up and add weight to that, to the bottom, so that it hangs better. And then I just took some torn strips of fabric and made a small scrappy bow to go on the top of the ornament. And if you've not seen these done, again, you just take some strips of fabric and here I'm adding even some strips of jute twine. And then I'll just take one and tie them together in the center, and that will make a good little scrappy bow. And then I just hot glue it to the top of the ornament. So I'll make my hanger at the top and my string at the bottom for the most part just the same on all of these. And the next one will be the one with the bird and the poinsettia, and I'm going to add the string and tassel to the bottom, or the string and beads to the top and bottom. And then on the next one, I reversed the way I did the beads. So on the top of the next one, I added the loop and 1 bead, and then on the bottom I added the string with the 3 beads, and that just kind of changed it up a little bit, but again, I did them all very similar. And on this one, I just took some, actually this is just a piece of lace that I am adding hot glue underneath a little at a time and kind of pinching it together to create dimension. So I do this a lot. You can do this with lace or even strips of fabric. I've even done it with strips of torn paper. But it's just a good way to add a lot of texture. But I love this little angel postcard with the Christmas tree. I think this is such a vintage and shabby chic look. And again, you can find lots of beautiful art on the Graphics Fairy. And then I just tied a simple bow out of that same kind of lace and glued it to the top of the bottom. And then I just took some pieces of greenery and a few little berries and glued that, attached that to the top of the ornament. And the reason I wanted to add that was because of that Christmas tree at the bottom. I wanted to kind of bring that look up to the top and give this a little bit more of a Christmassy look. So I just kind of wired these together and then glued it to the top. And I'm sorry I'm having to show these reveal pictures in the wrong frame, but that's just the only way that I could get the whole thing on the screen, or to get it to be a full-size screen rather. And this one, it looks like I also added a hang tag. So I'm gluing lace across the bottom of this one and pinching it the same way to add some more texture on this one. And I kind of reversed this one. So I did the gathered lace on the bottom, and then I tied a simple bow and added to the top. And this is the one that I just took some little bitty flowers. I think I used little bitty dried flowers and glued to the center of the flower so that it just kind of brought some dimension to the inside of this flower. And I also took some little sprigs of of leaves and glued around the outside. And I just wanted to add just a little dimension to this flower. I think the flower is enough on its own, that and the bird, obviously. But I just wanted some dimensions. So some of those little areas that had some sprigs of greenery, I just added some little sprigs over the top of them. And that just kind of brings the flower more to life. I want to thank you guys for sending all the Christmas hang tags in, and I'm going to include that address for you to send those to in the description. For those of you who haven't been watching, the viewers have been sending their hang tags in that they created for Christmas, and I'm going to use them to decorate a Christmas tree with. So I've been getting several of those in, and I'm having so much fun getting them and adding them to the end of my videos. Now, I don't have one to add to this one, but if you want to send those, just send those to that address, and I will, if you want your name mentioned, say that you want your name mentioned. Otherwise, I'll just use first names, and then we'll add it. I'll use it to decorate that tree with. This one I found just a little twig in the yard, and I glued it underneath the bird so that it would look like it was on a branch, and then just added some sprigs of leaves around it. And then I took some of the netted ribbon that I get from the Dollar Tree and added some of that in the bottom corner with some Spanish moss and some little foam eggs, and kind of made this look like it was in a tree and also had a nest. And obviously this would be the male bird, because the male bird is the one that's bright colored, so maybe he's just watching over the nest. And since the eggs that I end up using are too large for a bird this size to have laid, maybe the nest is just kind of forward more and makes it look bigger. I'm just kind of going for the look and just kind of adding some elements that bring this all together. And then I just stamped some scripture on a book page and tore that out and antiqued around it and added it. And I used one of those little foam squares to attach it because I wanted to lift it off the page some. So that's what I ended up using to glue that on. And then the last one that I'm going to be doing is the one that I put the hymnal page on first and then added some decoupage napkin over the top of. And this is some scrapbook paper that you get in packs at the Dollar Tree, and it comes in assorted packs with paper and cardstock, and some of these papers are very, very fibrous and they're hard to tear, but when you do tear them, you see all those beautiful fibers, and I just absolutely love the look of this paper. I wish there were more of it in those packs, but I just kind of layered those together and added some scripture to the top of that. And now I'm just adding some greenery and berries to mimic what is in the napkin. And I think maybe this one is my second favorite. For those of you who don't know, we're planning our open house in the shop for the 21st of October. And that's when we bring out all of our new Christmas designs and things like that. And we have so many that we've been working on, especially on ornaments. I still have lots of the larger items to work on, but most of my ornaments are finished. And I think for my next video, I will just show you guys through all of those ornaments. And I might even tell you guys how I made some of them, but we just have hundreds of ornaments that are ready to go out, and I just thought it might make a good video to kind of show you guys through those. Again, here I'm just gluing some sprigs of greenery to the top of this and some berries, and then this one will be finished. And here you can see all those little fibers close up, and I just really, really like that look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening, and God bless you and your family.